Hi everyone, thanks for coming to watch this video. I'm going to show you 3 cool things that you can make with Coke bottle gummies. The first one is an EOS candy. The second one is edible slime, all made from Coke bottles. And the last one I'm going to show you is a giant push pop, again, made from just Coke bottle gummy candies. To make the EOS Coke bottle candy, you're going to need Coke bottles, and you'll only need about 5 or 6 of them, and you will also need an EOS container. For those who haven't seen these before, these are actually lip balms that you can buy in grocery stores or drugstores, and you're going to separate it into 3 parts. So take off the lid, and then very carefully, with a sharp object, you're going to take off the middle part, which is the grate. So you have the bottom, the middle, and the top. And what you're going to do is you're going to start by putting the candy in the top, and that's how you create the nice round egg shape. And then you put the middle piece on, you snap the bottom on, and then there you go. You have an edible candy treat that looks like EOS lip balm. To prep your EOS container so that your candy doesn't stick, you're going to cover it with oil. So I'm using my cooking spray oil here, and I just slather it on all over, ensuring that when I put the melted candy in, it will not stick when it is ready. Since we're trying to make our EOS look like a real Coke bottle, we're going to cut the top part off, so the clear part of the bottle, off the candy. And again, you only need about 5 or 6 candies, you guys. So just carefully cutting off the gummy, and then we're going to put it in the microwave, and it only takes about 15 seconds. And this is where, if you require a parent to supervise this, as it will get hot, make sure that you guys have one on hand so that you don't burn your fingers. So here's my melted Coke bottles, and I only microwaved it for about 10 or 15 seconds. Just make sure that you keep an eye on it, and just scrape as much as you can into the top of the container. And just remember that you don't want to put too much in there, as you won't even be able to see the dark part of the Coke bottle when it goes over top. So just a little bit on the top, and then you'll have that Coke bottle effect. Once you're done pouring it in, you're going to put it in the fridge or freezer just long enough to make sure that it's hard. After it's cooled off and it's ready to go for another layer of Coke bottle gummies. So here I have the bottom part of the bottle, so the dark part, and I'm going to microwave that again for about 15 seconds. But before I do that, I'm going to put on the grate, because I'm going to pour the dark part through the grate here so it connects to the clear part. Here's my melted Coke bottle bottoms, and it looks so good. So what we're going to do is we're going to carefully pour it in the EOS. And remember, this stuff is hot, so make sure that you guys have adult supervision if needed. Once you're done carefully pouring in your melted Coke bottles, you want to tap it a little bit. I've obviously sped that up so that all the air bubbles within the candy go up to the surface. And then once that's done, you put it in the fridge to harden. So this is afterwards. See how I can touch it? It's not sticky. That means that it's hard. So I actually put it in the freezer just to ensure that it was hard. You want to snap on the bottom of your EOS and carefully take off the lid. And there you go. You get an edible Coke bottle EOS. And like I mentioned, this is frozen, so you'll notice that once it thaws out, it gets really squishy and fun. So enjoy your EOS Coke bottle candy treat. Next, I'm going to show you how to make edible Coke bottle slime. So first you're going to need marshmallows. Here I'm using the little ones so that they melt faster, and Coke bottles. So I each have a cup of Coke bottles and a cup of marshmallows. Then I have about half a cup of cornstarch and half a cup of icing sugar. And then I'm going to be using about 4 tablespoons in total of coconut oil. And a lot of people ask me if I need oil, and I believe that this makes it easier for it to stretch like slime, and it also ensures that the candy doesn't quite stick to the pot. Okay, so let's get going. So this is on about a medium-low temperature. Don't ever walk away from something that you're cooking. And again, if you're younger, make sure that you guys have adult supervision. So I'm just putting in 2 tablespoons of coconut oil here. And you can sort of stir that around to help it get covered on the bottom, and then you're going to put in your cup of marshmallows along with your cup of Coke bottles. So this takes about 10 minutes to melt, again on medium-low heat, and you always want to keep an eye on it so that when it is done you don't burn it. But just keep stirring and watch the process happen. So this is now done, so this is what it will look like, and I'm very happy with how it turned out. It's actually a little bit more squishy and liquidy than my previous edible slime, so I'm excited to see how this turns out. So you're going to let that cool off, and in the meantime you're going to grab a large plate and you're going to coat it with cornstarch and icing sugar. So this is to ensure that your slime doesn't stick to the plate, and the cornstarch and icing sugar are actually going to help turn it into more of a slime to play with. Okay, so once your slime has cooled off enough to pour it onto your plate, it doesn't have to be completely cooled off, as it does get hard depending on the candy, and you can use your spatula to sort of move it around at the beginning. So I'm just going to pour this out, and this stuff is quite sticky, so just be careful, and you're just going to fold over the powder into your slime. You're going to keep doing this until you feel like all of your slime has been coated with powder, and again, like I said, this stuff is really sticky, so even when you think that you have it all covered with powder, when you go to touch it, sometimes it really sticks to your hand. So it took me a while. I even added, I think, another quarter cup of icing sugar here, as this is way stickier than any other slime I've ever made. But this is also the smoothest, closest to slime, edible slime I've ever made. So you can see it's really starting to turn out quite good here. Final touch that I like to do is I get 2 tablespoons of melted coconut oil, and I just like to dip my slime in there, and it helps, if it is a little bit sticky, it helps it become less sticky, and also gives it a nice shine. As you can see, this stuff is really stretchy, and like I said, I think it's the closest to slime that you will get with candy, as I've made quite a few different videos if you want to check that out on my page. And the best part is that it tastes really good, and it tastes exactly like Coke bottles if you enjoy eating Coke bottles. The last thing I'm going to show you how to make is a push pop, and this is made out of purely Coke bottles, and I wasn't sure how this would turn out, but of course wanted to try just to see. So I think I used a whole pack of Coke bottles here, as this push pop is quite large. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to coat any parts that are involved in your push pop with oil. So I'm using my handy dandy cooking spray here and just coating all the parts to ensure that there's an easy movement once the push pop is done. Similar to the EOS candy, I'm going to cut my candies in half to make it look like a Coke bottle as much as I can. So you want to make sure that you cut off all the brown from the clear so that you have a nice clear top on your push pop. So I'm doing the brown ones first, right? So the brown goes on the bottom of the push pop, and then we'll do the clear ones after. So here I have my melted Coke bottle bottoms, and I did that maybe for 15 to 20 seconds. Keep an eye on it because they do melt quite fast. So carefully, I'm going to pour this into my push pop for the base of my Coke bottle push pop. So now you're going to put this in the fridge or freezer, and it will take longer than the EOS obviously because it's bigger, so just make sure you ensure that it's nice and hard. So this is after, and you'll see that it has solidified, and you should be able to touch it without the candy touching to your fingers. So moving on to the top part of our Coke bottle push pop is the clear top. So you're going to melt those again for maybe 20 seconds. So here we go, this is melted, and we're going to carefully pour it in. And the cool part about this, you guys, is that even though I solidified the brown part, you're going to see that it mixes nicely and it looks super cool while you do it. Again, putting it in the fridge or freezer until it's hard. So here we have our completed push pop. I can touch it without the candy sticking. And this is the lid that comes with the set, and then the stick that goes with the set as well. And then I'm going to slowly push the push pop out and see what happens. And there you have it, our push pop is working as it's sliding out and it's staying in the gelatin form, and it's all made of Coke bottles. So for all those Coke bottle lovers out there, I really hope you enjoyed this video of making EOS and an edible slime and a giant push pop. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you guys do so. Thanks!